Hello everybody, I'm Starraptor and today we'll be reviewing Gears of War 4. Gears of War 4 is for Xbox One and PC and it's developed by the Coalition. I can think of no better way to welcome the series to Xbox One than with this entry in the franchise. It does a great job in satisfying hardcore fans of the franchise while being an easy starting point for new fans. In many ways it's what The Force Awakens did to Star Wars. This entry in the series plays it safe, but in doing so makes it one of the strongest games in the series yet. The story of Gears of War 4 focuses on the next generation and puts you in the boots of JD Fenix, son of Marcus Fenix. Set about 25 years after Gears of War 3, there is a lot of history in the gap. New enemies have arisen in the form of killer robots called DBs, as well as organic creatures called the Swarm. The story itself is much more personal and smaller in scope than the other Gears games. This game is about passing the torch from Marcus to the next generation of heroes. Visually, Gears of War 4 is one of the most striking games on the Xbox One. Thanks to a host of different environments, the battlefields all feel different. From a COD construction hub, to a rundown castle, to the center of a swarm hive, you see a lot of diversity. Also, weather plays a big factor in the environments. Wind flares pick up the wind and strike lightning all around. On the tech side of things, Gears of War 4 is groundbreaking in that it is one of the first Xbox One games to feature 4K and HDR. This is one of those games to definitely showcase to your friends for the graphics alone. Gameplay wise, Gears of War 4 maintains the tight cover mechanics you come to love, as well as some new tricks. Most notable is the added mobility to be able to vault over cover rather than stopping to jump over. Also, there is more interactivity with the enemies in the environment. For example, during wind flares, aiming of grenades and bullets is thrown off. Also, during these, you can shoot weak points on rubble to crush your foes. In addition, there are many new weapons added to the game with interesting mechanics such as the buzzkill and drop shot. One criticism I have about the gameplay is the game really doesn't innovate too heavy on any huge aspects of the controls. That being said, Gears of War 4 still sets the bar for third-person cover shooters. The game itself is split up into 3 modes: Campaign, Versus, and Horde. Campaign allows you to play through the story in its entirety with a friend in co-op. The campaign does a great job in preparing you for multiplayer. Versus mode includes core modes, Team Deathmatch, Dodgeball, King of the Hill, Arms Race, Guardian, and Warzone. There are also 2 competitive modes, Escalation and Execution. When first jumping in Versus, I immediately noticed the frames per second is bumped up to 60. This was a welcome change in that many modern multiplayer games are set to this fluid frame rate. However, the campaign is still set to 30. Weapons seem to be balanced with no clear weapon being overpowered. Finally, Horde mode 3.0 offers the most dramatic changes to Gears of War 4. Horde mode has you and 4 others surviving against 40 waves of enemies. There are now character classes which include Soldier, Sniper, Scout, Heavy, and Engineer. Each offers their own perks for different playstyles. Also, there are power pickups of dead enemies that must be brought back to power up the Fabricator. The Fabricator is where you can purchase weapons and defenses from, and the resources are shared between 5 team members. Another thing added to multiplayer are loot crates which unlock cards for Horde mode classes, skins, and XP boosts. All throughout my time online I found no problems with any of the servers. My only criticism of the multiplayer is that there isn't a lot of diversity in the versus modes. Overall, Gears of War 4 multiplayer has never been this great. Gears of War 4 is all around what you could want out of a shooter. Its campaign is one of the most engaging cinematic stories of recent memory, and its multiplayer is balanced and has a lot of replayability. As great as the overall package is, I would have liked to see more liberties taken with the core gameplay mechanics, as well as more inventive multiplayer modes. The Coalition has created a sequel that exceeded my expectations. If you are a shooter fan and own an Xbox One, this is an essential game for your library.
Holy shit, watch those chains!
Okay, I'm calling it. It's official. Literally everything is trying to kill us.
So, if you liked the video, then make sure you go ahead and hit that thumbs up symbol. And if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button down below. Doing so will help you stay up to speed on all of my latest content. Speaking of which, there's a recent video right over there. I'm also on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Starraptor. So what are you waiting for? Let's get talking pop culture.